On July the 13th, 2023, Mercedes and McLaren participated in a test on the national circuit. The Wellington Straight was artificially drenched so that the FIA may collect information on the archers or mudguards. The exhilarating addition of wet weather has long enhanced a Formula 1 weekend, but the sport is always looking for methods to make the drama that results play out as safely as possible. After the 2021 Belgium GP in Spa, the concept was born to allow races or sessions in situations that would often be judged too risky due to poor sight. Although the amazing expertise of F1 drivers allows them to handle the vehicles in rainy weather, the spray from the car in front of them may occasionally dim their vision. Jules Bianchi's collision with a crane at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, which occurred in rainy conditions, was the most recent on-track event to claim the life of an F1 driver. Following a close call on the same track the previous season, also in rainy weather, Pierre Gasly was left furious after narrowly avoiding a crane in analogous circumstances.
A few cars are gonna pit, we think, from where you comes. Red flag.
God, what is this tractor? What is this tractor on track? This is unacceptable.
Shortly after that occurrence, a strategy for testing the wheel arches was developed during the FIA World Motorsport Council meeting in Abu Dhabi in November of last year. The 2021 Belgium Grand Prix, which was rained out and forced the sport's governing body to give out points for a race that only lasted one lap behind a safety car, is also said to have played a role in the FIA's decision to test the technology. However, the incident with Formula Regional Europe driver Delano van 't Hoft at the same location last weekend has increased attention to the problem. So, how will the test work? At Silverstone, the storied track that played home to the British Grand Prix last weekend, the prototype wheel arches, anticipated to reach around a quarter of the tyre's diameter, will be installed on a Mercedes. The McLaren vehicle trailed behind during the test on the circuit's main straight, which was covered in water. The McLaren also ran in front of the Mercedes without the wheel arches installed to allow the FIA to conduct a direct comparison. If successful in F1, the arches will likely be introduced into the junior categories. Let's look at some of the popular opinions on wet weather arches. When asked about his opinion, Pierre Gasly responded, "I think visibility in the rain is crucial. Unfortunately, what happened in Spa, I even spoke with Esteban Ocon on parade in Austria, and we had a very similar situation in 2012 Formula Renault 2 liters, where we both started on the rear of the grid in similar circumstances. You can't even see 5 meters in front of you, so you're praying for your life that no one stops in the middle. In extreme conditions, I think the majority of the time we don't get on the track is just that we can't see where we're going, not so much for driving-wise conditions. I believe that one issue to solve is this. I sincerely hope that they can make it better." Lance Stroll has urged the arches to be installed as soon as possible to solve the huge safety issue should the Silverstone test succeed. The Canadian added, "We can't see anything in this heavy rain. I can recall many F1 races over the past few years where you cannot see anything when you're behind a car," the driver said of Japan last year. "And if someone has an accident in front of you and it's sideways in the middle of the track, it's highly dangerous. You're unable to see your path ahead." He also added, "I don't think we should race like that. Therefore, if it works, it has to be installed on the vehicles as soon as feasible. We shouldn't put ourselves in circumstances where we must race in poor visibility if it doesn't work. Accidents can occur, and they can have very serious consequences. Therefore, if it works, put it on the cars as soon as possible. Hopefully it does, and it will be a terrific option for racing in rainy conditions." According to Lando Norris, who participated in the Silverstone test, the biggest safety concern now confronting the sport is rainy weather visibility. He declared, "I'd say it's about time we're going to do something. We drivers have been stating that something has to be done for years. We've been fortunate that nothing occurred in F1 or other categories, and in the worst scenario, tragically, we had to lose a life before people realized that such things might happen. If they could merely happen there, they could have occurred last weekend in Austria. Unfortunately, we had to witness such a consequence for others to realize what may occur. I believe that is something that must be accomplished. It is now F1's biggest safety concern in his opinion. What is the next item that, no matter how you look at it, can significantly increase safety? Being able to genuinely see where we're heading is what it is. That is useful at times. He also eagerly anticipates it. We'll soon see how well it works because I'm testing it, and if it doesn't, we need to try something else to find a solution. Sergio Perez admitted that the arches might affect aerodynamics. He emphasized that the overall safety of everyone was more crucial. The Mexican stated, "I think if they work, I would like to see them put in, certainly in F1. Even though it's going to be quite costly, perhaps more for some teams than others in terms of downforce, I think safety should come first, and it might let us race in riskier conditions. We need to improve, especially in light of what occurred last weekend. But for now, I believe it's only crucial that race officials permit us to compete when it's secure and when everyone on the grid can see anything." Mercedes driver George Russell said he is proud of the team's engagement with the study despite not participating in the test. Russell also mentioned the July 1st Formula Regional European Championship race at Spa in Belgium when 18-year-old Dutch driver Delano van 't Hoft died. Russell has considerable power in the paddock as a Grand Prix Drivers Association director. "This all came about following Japan last year and the spray and the visibility," he remarked. "For us, it is the biggest issue. With our wet tires, there aren't many issues when driving around a circuit alone, but things get tricky when there are 20 cars in a row. For example, in the Japanese race last year, half of the drivers didn't even go all out on the straights because it was difficult to see 50 meters before you." He believes the tragedy of what transpired concerning Van 't Hoft in Spa was entirely due to the spray and visibility. The Aston Martin driver had this to say before the test: "I hope they will help, and I think they will help. Even the tarmac itself. I think some of the more open, aggressive tarmac the water sits in, and with the diffusers, it sprays up all the water and makes things even worse. If they are testing it, it is because models and research regarding the spray were conducted, and because the FIA and other relevant specialists have come up with the answer because they believe it will work. We have complete faith in the FIA and the teams, and I believe we'll all be watching to see whether the answer is favourable and if we can quickly implement it. Using prototype wheel arches makes a turning point in Formula One's journey towards increased safety and fairness. The joint efforts of the FIA, competing teams, and the tyre maker Pirelli show a common commitment to developing the sport while tackling the difficulties brought on by unfavourable weather conditions. Future Formula One wet racing will be shaped by the results of the next test at Silverstone, and it is hoped that this will lead to exhilarating and fair racing for both drivers and spectators.